Dr. Lieberman, the latest Epstein document dump has cast former Duchess of York Sarah Ferguson and her ex-husband Andrew Mountbatten Windsor as grubby and selfish and as a pair who knew of Epstein.
3 million pages. That was the number. 3 million pages of documents released by the United States Department of Justice. And buried inside that avalanche of files were a handful of emails that would detonate what remained of Sarah Ferguson's carefully rebuilt public life. Within days, Charity severed ties. Her latest children's book was pulped before it could properly reach shelves, and the home she had occupied for years was no longer hers. And while the fallout spread across Britain, she was thousands of miles away, reportedly regrouping in the United Arab Emirates and quietly discussing a comeback. The turning point began on November 19, 2025, when the Epstein Files Transparency Act became law. The legislation passed with overwhelming force, 427-1 in the House of Representatives, followed by unanimous approval in the Senate. Its purpose was simple but explosive: compel the Department of Justice to release its files related to Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender who died in federal custody in 2019.
Continued to grow their relationship with him. So much of the communication that we've read is after he was convicted on some really serious and ugly charges.
What followed was not a single document drop, but a rolling disclosure. December 2025 saw the first batch of records, but it was January 30th, 2026 that delivered the shockwave. More than 3 million pages, over 2,000 videos, approximately 180,000 images, material drawn from the Florida and New York criminal cases, the Ghislaine Maxwell prosecution, FBI investigative files, and internal reviews surrounding Epstein's death. The scale alone guaranteed headlines. But scale was not what damaged Sarah Ferguson. It was tone. In public, the Duchess of York had long maintained that her connection to Epstein was limited, misguided, and deeply regretted. She had admitted to borrowing £15,000, describing it as a gigantic error of judgment. She had publicly condemned him. She had insisted she cut off contact once she understood the severity of his crimes. The emails told a more complicated story. One message described Epstein as the brother I have always wished for. In another, she called him a supreme friend. In yet another exchange, she wrote, "You are a legend." And perhaps most striking of all was a message from January 2010 that read, "I am at your service. Just marry me."
Epstein was a very mysterious man who obviously did a lot of bad things, but he had this magic, this ability to attract people who were very rich, people who were in high places, royalty, and how he kept them.
The language was informal, familiar, warm, and it was written after Epstein's 2008 conviction for soliciting a minor for sex. Employment discussions also appeared in the documents. In May 2010, while Epstein was under house arrest in Florida, Ferguson allegedly suggested he hire her as his house assistant, writing that she was the most capable and that she desperately needed the money. Other messages referenced urgent funding requests. In one email, she wrote that she needed £20,000 for rent immediately because her landlord was threatening to contact the newspapers if she failed to pay. The documents also referenced a venture called Mother's Army, launched in 2009 and publicly framed as a platform to amplify the voices of mothers worldwide. According to business plans included in the files, Epstein would have held 51% equity, making him the majority stakeholder. Ferguson would receive a $250,000 salary, funded through book deals, children's television projects, and speaking engagements.
Friends of his is by sort of keeping them in, having something on them. You know, he didn't want them to betray his trust, and so he would always get something on each of them. Now, I kind of feel bad for Anne.
All of these conversations occurred after Epstein's conviction. Travel records included in the document release added another layer. In July 2009, less than a week after Epstein was released from prison, Ferguson traveled to the United States with her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Flight costs detailed in correspondence showed just under $5,000 for the girls in economy class and more than $9,000 for Ferguson in business class. Her representatives have strongly disputed the implications drawn from these documents. They maintain that she was misled by Epstein, that she severed ties once she understood the full scope of his behavior, and that certain emails, including the Supreme Friend message, were written in response to threats of defamation action.
On Fergie, emails between her and Epstein seem to show that she may have had a crush on him, or some have suggested she was in love with the disgraced financier and convicted pedophile, let's not forget. Alan Howe has written a great piece in today's Australian newspaper.
They emphasize that being named in the Epstein files does not imply wrongdoing, and that no charges or accusations have ever been filed against her. But reputational damage does not require criminal charges. It requires perception. Within days of the January release, charities began distancing themselves. The Teenage Cancer Trust announced it was ending its relationship with her. Julia's House, a children's hospice, followed, stating it would be inappropriate for her to continue in her role. The Natasha Allergy Research Foundation expressed concern. The British Heart Foundation, Prevent Breast Cancer, and the Children's Literacy Charity also walked away. At least 5 organizations cut ties in a single day. Then came Sarah's Trust, the charity she founded in 2020. It announced it would close for the foreseeable future. A spokesperson insisted the decision had been under discussion for months, but the timing was impossible to ignore.
And he says there were warning signs from very early on about Sarah Ferguson, reports of disturbing behaviour from her date right back to when she first joined the royal family in 1986. Carol, what do you say about that?
Publishing added to the collapse. Her new children's book, Flora and Fern, Kindness Along the Way, had already been delayed once. It was scheduled for October, then November. Ultimately, it was canceled entirely. A publishing insider reportedly told the press, "It's not being delayed, it's being pulped." Approximately 10,000 copies were sent for recycling. Book signings were scrapped. Promotional appearances vanished. All of this unfolded against a broader institutional shift. On October 30th, 2025, King Charles stripped Prince Andrew of his remaining titles. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor became his formal name, no longer styled as a prince. He was ordered to surrender his lease on Royal Lodge, the 30-room mansion he had occupied for nearly 2 decades. He had secured the lease in 2003 for £1 million and committed £7.5 million to renovations, paying a nominal peppercorn rent thereafter. The removal of titles was unprecedented in modern times. The last comparable case dated back to 1919.
Well, yes, this is the newest thing that has come out of the Epstein files. I mean, there's so much that's coming out. There are thousands and thousands of pages. But yes, it has come out that on at least 2 occasions, she proposed to Jeffrey Epstein. And yes, it was after he was convicted the first time of using. And so, obviously that didn't bother her very much.
For Ferguson, the loss of Royal Lodge meant immediate practical consequences. Reports indicate she will not join Andrew at his new accommodation on the Sandringham estate. Sources suggest she is assessing options and may seek temporary residence abroad. Portugal has been mentioned. So have stays in the French Alps. Most recently, she has been seen in the United Arab Emirates, where Princess Eugenie was attending an art fair in Doha. According to reports, she is looking for a new public relations team. She has told friends she needs to get back to work because she needs money. There are also indications she may distance herself from Andrew in future appearances. Experts are skeptical. Former BBC royal correspondent Jenny Bond has publicly questioned the feasibility of a comeback, suggesting that public patience may be exhausted. PR professionals note that reinvention requires a receptive audience, and at present, the mood appears unforgiving. And yet, Sarah Ferguson has survived scandals before. The cash for access controversy, years of financial strain, public mockery. She has reappeared at royal gatherings. She has rebuilt charitable portfolios in the past. Resilience is part of her public identity. But this moment feels different. The scale of the document release is permanent. The emails are part of the public record. The charities have gone. The book has been pulped. The house is no longer hers. The question now is not whether she can respond, it is whether the public will accept the response. Can a reputation survive 3 million pages of context? Can a carefully reconstructed image withstand the weight of archived correspondence? Or does this mark the point where comeback narratives finally meet institutional fatigue? For now, the future remains uncertain. The documents exist. The consequences are unfolding, and the space for reinvention may be narrower than ever. What do you think? Is another comeback possible, or has this chapter finally closed for good? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to stay updated on the latest royal developments, be sure to subscribe.